19 hours GMT from the News Hub here at Adesanwe Kanda in Accra. This is News 360. I am Isa Moni.
And I'm Natalie Fort. A look at the top stories this evening.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Public Utilities Regulatory Commission PURC announces 17.5% reduction in electricity tariffs for residential consumers.
Also, family of late Major Maxwell Mahama expresses concern at number of accused persons standing trial for his murder.
Also ahead this evening, the Ghana Police Service says its concept of community policing will help in reducing crime significantly.
And in international news, aid convoy carrying urgently needed supplies have entered rebel-held Eastern Ghouta in Syria for the first time in weeks.
We've got the details of these stories for you, including news from the world of sports, business and entertainment this evening. Is streaming live all across the world on 3news.com as well as TV3 Ghana on Facebook. On to our very first story this evening. The family of the late Major Maxwell Mahama has expressed concern about the number of persons standing trial for the murder of their son. A spokesperson for the family, Zakaria Ahmed, told Accra High Court that the 14 accused persons standing trial are fewer than the number of persons who committed the act, as seen in the videotape. Here's a report by Godfrey Tanam.
The family of late Major Maxwell Mahama appeared in court for the first time since the beginning of the case. Led by his father, retired Captain Dennis Mahama, the family observed proceedings at the High Court as the judge and the counsels of some of the accused persons deliberated on how to secure legal representation for some 5 accused persons. The 5 persons told the court they were not in good financial standing to secure the services of lawyers to represent them. Counsel for 6 of the accused persons, George Bernard Shaw, told the court he is in the process of engaging the services of some lawyers. The presiding judge, Justice Mariama Owusu, indicated she would take steps to secure legal representation for the 5 accused persons if Bernard Shaw is unable to. She says she will have to empanel a jury but will not want to risk empaneling the current jurors because majority of them are 58 years old, and if the case goes beyond 2 years, it will affect the trial since they will be due for retirement. After the court proceedings, the spokesperson for the family, Zakaria Sakara Ahmed, told the media though they have no option than to go by what the law prescribes, they are concerned about the number of persons currently standing trial.
Looking at what we saw in the videos and the number of people that were arrested at the beginning, we thought that, we would have had more people. And I mean, you have mob justice, mob action. We expect to have a mob trial. Let the court look at everybody. Let them come to the court and come and defend themselves, come and explain their presence at the scene on that day. Unfortunately, this is not what happened, and we cannot hold the police responsible. Our sentiments are our sentiments. The law is the law.
He said they will give the court the necessary support, though they are aware the wheel of justice is slow. Sitting continues on March 21.
Now, the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission has announced a 17.5% reduction in electricity tariffs for residential consumers effective March 15. The Commission has also announced a 30% reduction for non-residential consumers.
The Public Utilities Regulatory Commission reviewed the tariffs after consulting with the various service providers. The adjustment include a 25% reduction for special load tariff consumers and 10% reduction for mines. The move is in accordance with the PURC Act 1997, Act 538.
There is also a policy shift from government point of view that in terms of the plans, they are making a deliberate policy shift to use natural gas in most of the plans. And this, even initially, the projections that the distributors use in coming out with their costs was 8.8424 USD per MBTU, and the real figures we got from the ministries that is included in the tariff is now 7.29 USD per MMBTU. So
the new tariff structure is expected to remain the same until 2019, when it will next be reviewed. According to the PURC, the tariff reduction did not have to wait for the concession of ECG to take effect.
It might not affect it that much because this time we have stated clear in the press statement that the AAF is going to be used periodically. The automatic adjustment formula is going to be used periodically, and that will be adjusting for inflation, that will be adjusting for foreign exchange losses. So whatever comes in will not be felt that much with Ghanaians.
The Commission did not, however, review tariffs on water. The announcement comes barely a month after utility service providers, Ghana Water Company Limited and Electricity Company of Ghana, demanded a 200% increase in tariffs. The 2018 budget presented by the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, in November 2017 had projected a 13% reduction for residential and non-residential consumers. This reduction, however, exceeds the projected one. And certainly this reduction by the PURC was not expected by most utility companies. They in fact expected an increase of above 100%, like you saw in the story earlier there, but it's a drastic decrease that has been effected. And we're going to run us by the reduction in tariffs and see the figures a little clearly to have better understanding of what it actually means to consumers. Now, the customer category, there's residential customers, non-residential customers, special low tariff customers and mines. With residential customers, the approved average percent reduction is 17.5%. Non-residential customers are to see 30% average reduction, and special low tariff customers of low voltage, medium voltage and high voltage percentage of 25% reduction, while mine sees 10%. Now, with residential customers specifically, what we should be expecting, just to give a better understanding, say you're paying 50 Ghana cedi for your light monthly, for your electricity monthly. Now, this reduction should see you paying a little less than 50 Ghana cedi. However, getting the period of light electricity in your home being as though you had paid 50 Ghana cedi. And so that's where the onus lies on the consumers to in fact check the receipts that are provided to you by your electricity providers to see the period of time given there and to ensure that it reflects what this reduction is supposed to be reflecting. And so this is basically what the reduction in tariff does look like. Like we saw in the story earlier, the water is still expected to be confirmed. We haven't had any reduction, and the PURC isn't exactly clear on when we should see a reduction in water tariffs, but we'll be seeing how that goes and bringing more on that. Isa.
Thank you, Natalie. I'm sure it requires a lot of mathematics and calculations, so everybody have to do your calculation and see the quantity of electricity you get for paying a certain amount of money. Now let's move to the police administration, which says its concept of community policing will help in reducing crime significantly. Now, speaking in an interview with TV3, the Director General of the Police Public Affairs Directorate, ACP David Ekuru, said this form of community policing started last year, and so far 6,000 people have been recruited for training. There have been a spate of violent robberies in the capital, Accra, and in some other cities over the past week, something which has actually forced the police to go into this recruitment.
The spate of violent robbery attacks in the last few weeks have compelled the police service to revise their notes on combating this menace. The spotlight is now on the community policing. The program, which began last year, has recruited 6,000 young men and women who have been deployed to 36,000 electoral areas. Director General of the Police Public Affairs, ACP David Ekuru, says the Ghana Police Service concept of community police has become more critical.
If there are issues about local crimes, they can identify early warning signs, have meetings, and then seek intervention from this police district or the police division and then to the regional headquarters. That's how the structure operates. They don't receive the full hawk of the police training, but they are taken through basic police training skills and then also basic observation skills.
According to the police, screening of new recruits is done right at the district level in collaboration with the police. New recruits will serve between 2 to 4 years, but the police will not be under any obligation to automatically absorb them after their service.
Now, the Ghana Marine Police, with assistance from the Takrady port on Monday, intercepted a boat carrying 51 young men suspected to be being trafficked to Conakry, Guinea for mining activities. The suspects were traveling from Adan in the Greater Accra region, where they were spotted by the Marine Police Patrol Team, 5 nautical miles from the Takrady port. Eric Yao Ije has more.
About 11 o'clock Monday, spotted a suspicious boat. Due to the nature of the boat, they called the Takrady port to assist them to intercept the boat. Commander for the Ghana Marine Police, ASP Seydou Idi, said after several hours, the speedboat from the Takrady port was able to help them intercept the boat.
The nature of the boat was such that our boat could not bring them ashore. So they called for reinforcement. We contacted the Takrady port authorities, and they supported us with a bigger craft, which enabled us to tow them from the high seas to this place. In all, 51 people were on board with various assorted equipment. Currently, we are holding the people on conspiracy to commit human trafficking, contrary to Section 23(1) of the Criminal Offences Act 1960.
ASP Seydou Idi told TV3 News that the 51 people are from Adan in the Greater Accra region and were on their way to Conakry, Guinea.
We've started thorough interrogation of the suspects. All the 51 people are all Ghanaians, but they are not from Takrady here. They traveled from somewhere, we are told, Adan in the Greater Accra region. We are going to disembark them from the boat as you have seen them and detain them for the interrogation. You know, we have also been undertaking part in the Operation Vanguard. So it has given us a lot of experience, and they've discovered that some of the equipment in the boat are meant for mining, small-scale mining.
So behind me are the 51 persons that the Ghana Marine Police intercepted on high seas. Now the commander, ASP Seydou Idi, tells me that they are going to distribute them to the various commands because they are cells currently will not be able to hold their numbers. Eric Yawaje, TV3 News, Takrady.
Well, hashtag celebrate Ghana, celebrate GH. Sleep Ghana, wake up Ghana, and eat everything Ghana. You're on News 360, and let's talk about something that, of course, is related to our culture. It is not the first and may not be the last. The demolition of some heritage sites in Ghana, regardless of their relevance in the country's history. The Ave Maria Hotel in Tema, which houses the reading room of Britain's Queen Elizabeth, has been earmarked for demolition. Kwabena Edujemfi takes a look at implications of the gradual wiping of Ghana's heritage sites.
Okay, I think I've seen it.
Embarking on this journey, I expected to see evidence that, indeed, part of Tema is situated at the center of the world, as authored by history. My first stop was the Ave Maria Resort, originally called Howcrow Beach Club, built in the early 1950s by Sir W. Howcrow, the consultant assigned to the construction of the Tema Harbour. Before the facility was acquired by the Ave Maria Holdings in 2002, and expanded to its current state. The club had only these 2 rooms, which regularly hosted Ghana's first president and for once hosted Queen Elizabeth II when she visited Ghana.
When the Queen was coming in '62, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the late president, asked that they build a pool for the Queen's use and a small room for her relaxation during the day. So the club members built this pool. And as I said, apart from Kwame Nkrumah, who was using the place, no other person was allowed. And after the Queen's visit, Kwame Nkrumah was using the pool, and you go in there and relax. We are told that he will first of all go and swim in the sea, sit on the rocks, and then come finally to swim here and go and sleep in that small room.
Apart from the swimming pool, which has been preserved till date, all other items both dignitaries used during their visit have been replaced with modern facilities. But this does not in any way erase the significance of this place.
Conserving it is not just about preserving the past for its sake, or the sake of conservation, but it has significance bearing on the identity of Ghana. That is why we should be thinking about how best we could actually conserve and maintain that site.
The Greenwich Meridian Rock, which I had read about in my informative year, should have been few meters away from the resort, but was no more due to the port expansion project. The Ave Maria Hotel here at Tema clearly holds a significant amount of the country's heritage, which ought to be protected, if for nothing at all, for our future generations and for tourism purposes. But this hotel may probably not live to see April this year.
What we were doing at first was to keep that room as an exhibit. Foreigners and Ghanaians who want their honeymoon to be memorable, so they go, they come in, they said we want to sleep in Kwame Nkrumah's room. Right now, we've been given up to 11th of March to close down.
So what do we put at that particular space to commemorate this ideal that we have, that we are the center of the world? Okay, it's a place that people would visit. It's a place that we can use to teach children, generations to come. So what if we destroyed all things in the name of development? We call that development without control. Okay, we are not thinking about our heritage. And it is for that matter that the youth of today keep on asking questions like, so what did we do in the past? Okay, and other writers who are non-African will say Africa did not have any history.
The Ghana Tourism Authority says it's been working to save the Ave Maria Resort from being demolished.
Per what I've been told, both from official and non-official sources, the cost of re-engineering the project to accommodate the facility is way beyond what the project can contain. And so it may come out even more expensive if you try and do a re-engineering and take the railway out of it. Just for that. But in going down, I've seen projects around the world where maybe you move it another 500 meters away, 400 meters away, you keep the items, as many of the items that you can, and then you will still have the potential.
The rock is said to lead to another center of the world tower here at the Presbyterian Church of the Greenwich Meridian at Tema. At the same location, the Meridian line could be found. The historic Seaview Hotel, in which the Queen of England, Elizabeth II, was during her visit, has also been demolished to pave way for the construction of a church auditorium. Part of the old Parliament House in Accra, which hosted Ghana's first parliament, was demolished last year, 2 years after the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board signed a memorandum of understanding with Ghana's Heritage Conservation Trust aimed at forging closer collaboration to strengthen their managerial role in preserving Ghana's historical site and cultural heritage.
As it is, most of these sites, attractions, heritage sites and all those things are not regulated by GTA. And so we're working on a new legislative instrument. We've met with the parliamentary group a few months ago. We need the backing of the law so that every site, every attraction will be regulated by GTA. That will also give us the mandate to be able to do proper auditing of these sites.
This resort is said to have been recommended to be preserved by the Center of the World Committee, as it is viewed as having great value for Ghana's tourism sector. But will this recommendation be taken serious? Kwabna Edu Jemfi, TV3, Tema.
Welcome back to News 360. Time now for some business news, and we start off with Samsung. Now, the leading technological firm has announced improved security features that will protect users' content with the new Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. These enhanced security features include intelligent scan and dedicated fingerprint. According to CEO and President of Samsung Electronics Africa, Sung Yoon, security of its customers was a priority in modeling the S9 and S9 Plus. He spoke with Alfredo Canty in an exclusive interview on the sidelines of the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona.
Galaxy S9 has a lot of functions, including for the consumers and the B2B enterprise business. So for the enterprise business, we call NAX. NAX is pliable for more customized solutions. How many times our phones are, exposed to the security risks? We have enhanced the security softwares, which will be customized for the customers. Each B2B, like a bank or security companies. So the best solution we developed is more customized in details to provide what based on the environment. So Galaxy S9 has a much enhanced solution for the enhanced software this time.
Fantastic. Now, the bit also about the, home security. I'm looking at a mother, a Ghanaian mother who's out there watching and has a nanny but still wants to keep an eye on the nanny at home. How does the S9 or S9 Plus enable that to happen?
So we call that Samsung One Connected. So normally there are a lot of steps to get connected between mobile phone and to the monitors at home. So Samsung, the new solution with combined with Galaxy S9 is there is no separate the applications, software download, just easy, simple to connect it, and that's the only workable Samsung security program, which is NAX. So now you don't have to worry about any hackers or any interruptions for the watching home securities with the Samsung Galaxy S9. If you take the photos of what you are eating and what you are working, it will calculate all the calories you are consuming or the food. So if you take a picture with what you are going to eat, it calculates how many calories you will take, and when you are walking, the Galaxy S9 will check what's your calorie consumption. So every time you will see how many calories we take and how many calories we used. So it will recommend eat food like vegetables or more steak at this point, or even recommend skip the lunch or dinner based on the calorie consumption.
Well, great news there for Samsung mobile lovers. But let's turn to the banking sector now, as Barclays Africa Group has set out a new business strategy to deliver on ambitious goals following the sell-down by Barclays PLC of its majority share to 14.9%. Managing Director of Barclays Ghana, Patience Ishianu, has assured the change will not lead to employee layoffs. Barclays operations in 10 countries in Africa, including Ghana and 2 representative offices in Nigeria and Namibia, will all change from Barclays to ABSA across the African markets. The decision by Barclays PLC to reduce its share from the over 60% to 14.9% was that their investment and costs were not matching returns. For the Managing Director of Barclays Ghana, rebranding transition will be handled in order to ensure value for money for both customers and shareholders.
For the operations outside South Africa, the Barclays entities I earlier mentioned, we have up to June 2020 to make this change, and we will choose the right time for ourselves. Let me assure you that we will manage this transition with the greatest of care, bringing on board all stakeholders, including our regulators, and aligning to their requirement to make this transition as seamless as possible.
The Managing Director indicated the new growth strategy leverages on the bank's existing footprint and market insights to become Africa's largest banking group. The strategy seeks to double the bank's 6% market share to 12%.
Will be to build pioneering new propositions in which will be more commercially minded and will unleash the entrepreneurial zeal in our organization to grow our business.
Patience Ishianu noted the change will not affect employment.
If you mean our colleagues going to lose their jobs, the answer is no. This brand change is not expected to lead to loss of jobs. This brand change is not expected to directly lead to employing more. You know, we are always reviewing our operating model to make sure that it's suited and it will help us to deliver on our strategy. So as and when that is required, we'll make the right decision.
Barclays Ghana, or ABSA, will continue to do business with small to medium-scale enterprises, as well as continuing its investments in the agriculture sector. As a group, the banks are separately listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange with a balance sheet of $100 million. Barclays Ghana is a subsidiary of Barclays Africa Group Limited, with 70 service outlets and over 165 ATMs spread across the country. We'll see how that transition pans out and bring you more on it subsequently. On to other stories now. In the spirit of love, Vodafone Ghana has settled medical bills of patients who were unable to raise funds to pay their bills. The gesture was through its foundation's annual initiative dubbed Homecoming.
Vodafone Ghana Foundation paid the medical bills of over 300 patients in various hospitals across the country in an effort to show commitment to its communities. The move forms part of an annual initiative dubbed Homecoming that shows care and affection to needy patients in different medical centers in Ghana. The foundation, using the occasion of Ghana's 61st independence anniversary, granted freedom to mothers at the Kolebu maternity ward who could not afford their payments to go home. The CEO of Vodafone, Yolanda Cuba, said the very essence of what the foundation stands for is to be a caring brand by enabling access to resources that promote social change.
We want everyone to have the freedom to be with their families on Independence Day tomorrow. And basically, we're actually driving this initiative across the country. Today, we're releasing about 300 patients. We've actually spoken to different hospitals around the country to say, where are your pressure points? There is no pre-qualification criteria for this. For us, the most important thing is that we've got people that we are touching that have been in hospitals for 12 months actually waiting to pay, 18 months waiting to pay and not being able to go home. And we are saying it is time for you to go home.
Senior Nursing Officer Shirley Boatin JC, on behalf of the mothers, thanked Vodafone for its kind gesture.
Staying here is not the best. Every mother wants to be at home. And considering the fact that some of them have children in the house, they want to go and look after them, they have siblings, they have their own immediate families that they want to be with. But because of hospital bills, they are here. So I'm very sure they are all very happy.
Vodafone Ghana
is the only total communication solutions provider, mobile, fixed lines, internet, voice, and data, and is currently the telecom company of choice for Ghanaians. It is a second-ranked operator in terms of market share in the sector.
Well, certainly a kind gesture there by Vodafone Ghana. And on that note, we end the business news here on News 360 this evening. There's more business news. Visit our website. It's 3news.com. On to you, Isa.
Thank you, Natalie. Let's do some more stories tonight. President of the Nigerian Senate, Dr. Abubakar Bukola Saraki, has urged Parliament to carry out its oversight role diligently and in a transparent manner in order to win the trust of the people they represent. During the keynote address at a symposium to mark 25 years of Ghana's parliamentary democracy, he asked that the two parliaments must cross-pollinate ideas to move the continent forward for the benefit of its people.
The legislature, by reason of its composition, represents the interests of the people and serves as counterbalance to executive power. Parliament is therefore the best defender of our democracy, the best representation of the diversity of our nation, and the fulcrum for harmonizing initiatives that express the will of the people while providing clarity on how best to implement these initiatives. If Africa is to be fully integrated in the global economy, its constituent nations must be governed by rule of law, and we have to commit to making the required adjustment now. The strength of democracy starts with the strength of Parliament. It is our responsibility to instill in the public politic the time-honored principles of participation, transparency, and accountability, and to fight corruption, always making space for stakeholders' participation. This is the model of modern democracy. Honorable colleagues, you will agree with me that parliaments are a stabilizing force in democracy, especially with regards to our oversight responsibility. We must be courageous. We must be able to speak to power, as difficult as it is sometimes. It has its own casualties, but we must be able to do that, because that is our responsibility.
We're still live here on News 360. Let's turn our attention to agriculture now, as the Minister for Food and Agriculture has rubbished claims by the General Agriculture Workers Union and the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, doubting the number of jobs created by government's Planting for Food and Jobs program. Now, the two farmer groups earlier cast doubt on government's claim it had created 745,000 jobs through the program. But speaking to TV3, Dr. Owusu Akoto challenged the farmer groups to present evidence that suggested that his figures have been exaggerated.
I have a basis.
They say they've spoken.
They've spoken to?
I mean, they've spoken to their farmers on the field.
Who are their farmers? You know, you see, you don't take these things. Who are their farmers? There are 5 million farm families in Ghana. We have chosen 200,000 to work with initially. How many of those 200 have they gone to ask?
Well, they say they want you to bring them facts. I mean, they want to
bring them facts. Yeah. They should be bringing me the facts that my figures are wrong, not the reverse. We don't do that. For goodness sake, I mean, Ghana, sometimes the way things are done, I'm very surprised that people like you should be entertaining and even asking a question like this. I'm the Minister of Agriculture. We have staff all over the 216 district assemblies. We have extension officers, directors of agriculture, and all that. We collect data.
So, I mean, what you have is data from your officers on the field.
No, but where else can I get I can't get the figures from this office. We have a system, you know. There's a civil service, and they provide a service. Before you can challenge what we do, you have to be very well prepared. Don't sit in a cry and say, oh, what he's saying is not true. Since I wrote that newspaper article, putting out the assumptions and the method that we have arrived, have you heard anybody coming in with an intellectual discourse to disprove what I'm saying?
Isn't it
interesting? It's very easy for everybody to say, oh, I don't believe. You don't believe. This is not a church. This is economics. It's not a church. A church, if you belong to a church, then you're talking about belief. It is not belief. This is a very serious business. How many farmers do they represent?
Well, I don't know their numbers, but I know.
Please, no. Don't make
represent farmers.
Listen, don't make these claims like this, that they represent farmers. So anybody who gets up and says, I represent farmers, so this and that, you believe them?
Right, you're on News 360. We'll return shortly. You're on News 360. And up next is the international news.
An aid convoy carrying urgently needed supplies has entered the rebel-held eastern Ghouta area of Syria for the first time in weeks. The 46 trucks are the first to reach the besieged enclave since mid-February, despite the recent UN call for a ceasefire and short daily truces ordered by Russia. At least 719 people have been killed in that period, many of them children. Another 5,640 people have been injured in the eastern Ghouta, an agricultural region east of the capital Damascus, according to a local opposition-run health directorate. President Bashar al-Assad has said the offensive against terrorism should continue, and he dismissed their assessment of the humanitarian situation in the enclave as ridiculously lies. The leader of Zimbabwe's newest political party, made up of former ZANU-PF members who were ousted alongside Robert Mugabe, has met up with the former president. Retired Brigadier Ambrose Mutinhiri says he visited the elderly politician at home to update him on his new role as presidential candidate for the National Patriotic Front (NPF). It was also a chance, a press release said, for Mr. Mutinhiri to thank Mr. Mugabe for a cherished opportunity to work with and under him in various national capacities. Brigadier Mutinhiri resigned from the ruling ZANU-PF last week, saying he believed the military intervention which unseated Mr. Mugabe was unconstitutional.
International news, and we will return with entertainment news with Ken.
All right, so it's now time for some entertainment and lifestyle news here, brought to you by Vodafone and FanMax. My name is Nana Kwejuado, and I'm moving on to the very first story. The flaunting of the natural kinky hair is currently vogue. A new trend is likely to follow. But how have hair trends evolved in Ghana over the decades? Solis Roscotti has more.
A well-coiffed mane is one that can put a pep in the step of any woman. In Ghana, the braiding and plaiting of the hair with threads and twines has been around since before the 1800s. In Tekunteku, Wabibiafe, literally translated as the droppings of chicks, was also prevalent in that era. The Afro hair craze became dominant in the 1950s, but reached frenzied heights in the 60s. The trend was so popular and coveted that those who were not able to grow their hair naturally strived to get the Afro waves. The perm and jerry curl joined the hair evolution in the 1980s. The 1990s to the late 2000s saw a predominant chemical revolution. Some fashion trends might be faux pas, but some trends have lived to see the eclectic 21st century. Hair extensions have evolved to become more glamorous and expensive, with a wide range of textures and styles to choose from. Frontals, closures, bonds, weaves, glued and non-glued, Peruvian, Malaysian, Mongolian, Brazilian. These are but a few of the ways in which one can enjoy hair extensions. It is worth noting that pop culture is predominantly the driving force behind the evolution of hair trends in Ghana, at least for the last century. After decades of transitions, the natural or kinky hair has reared its beautiful head once again.
Is this something that surprises you?
Not at all. We're waking up. We are waking up. I'm very upset with blacks in general, and also like in Africa, where we don't embrace our naturalness. I mean, when I take my hair out, I'm proud because I'm lost, and I've always lost. Don't tamper with my hair. I'm a naturalist.
The natural hair revolution, which resurfaced in the early 2000s, has swept across African communities around the world and reached new heights, with many Ghanaian women following suit, dropping the chemicals and embracing the afro.
Like Nkuno Omodi and Cry, Ebiano Edin, Omodi Omutana, Sinayo, Omusu, Sidiano Omodi, by medium, I decided to pay me party.
Yes, they do, especially when I'm going out. They'll call me, I like your hair, and I say thank you.
Now, will this trend last in Ghana? Only time will tell. And so, till then, go ahead, girl, rock that fro.
So go ahead and walk that fro, and it's coming from that, evolution of hair over the period. Now we move on to the next story as Unia 95.1 FM in Accra, 3FM 92.7, Connect 97.1 in Takra. The subsidiaries of the Media General Group have rewarded lucky winners for their Valentine's Day program. Now the two couples enjoyed a weekend stay at the Holy Trinity Spa in Sogakope. Emmanuel Ajaman spoke to lucky couples before their fun trip.
Platforms TV3, 3FM, Onia FM, Connect FM. And today, the winners are ready to embark on a trip to Sogakope just to enjoy themselves. And I'm already enjoying myself in their bus. So let's get down. I can see them trying to pack their things into the bus. So let's get down and then talk to them. Let's know how the feeling is.
The month of February was made memorable for cherished listeners of 3FM, Onia FM, and Connect FM. After sharing intriguing stories of how their love story started, the couples were rewarded with a weekend stay at the Holy Trinity Spa in Sogakope. They left Accra for the fun trip on Friday, March 2. Before their trip, the lucky winners expressed gratitude to the radio stations for the honor done them. Millicent Adai-Mensah, the head of station for 3FM 92.7, presented a special gift to them.
So you can see the car moving straight up to Sogakope, where the couples who won on Onia 95.1 FM, Connect FM in Takrady, they are going to enjoy themselves inside Sogakope Spa. This is Emmanuel Ajaman reporting for TV3.
I suppose they really enjoyed themselves. But don't forget, we are still in the Ghana month and we are rocking and wearing Ghana. Make sure you're sending your photos to any of our social media platforms. And don't forget to hashtag #WeCelebrateGH. And that's about it for entertainment news with me, Nana Kwejuado, brought to you by Vodafone and FunMax. Solis and Abu standing by to wrap up with us. Notley.
Well, that's nice though.
That's nice.
I mean, I get there will be the Sadia discussion.
Yes, right
after the news.
We'll have the
Sadia
discussion.
And
of course, tomorrow we have the omnibus from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's a long day. We're going to have a relaxing day with Sadia.
That's very good, because I remember what a couple of people who were invited to the premiere said about Made in Ghana. Exactly. I'm sure. Yes. Well, I can't miss that after the news. Definitely going to be glued to my TV set and watch the Sadia discussion. And thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
I'm Issa Moni. Thanks for watching News 360.
And I'm Natalie Force. We've got more news on our websites at 3news.com. And like Ken said, after the news is the Sadia discussion. Promises to be very exciting. And news at 10 will simulcast on our sister station 3FM 92.7. Thanks so much for watching. Have a pleasant evening. Bye.